absent or cold father, trauma for the girl. What consequences does a woman face later in life if she had a cold, distant father or no father at all during her childhood? This is a very important topic today for understanding the role and value of the relationship between a daughter and her father. I am with you, psychologist Yuliia Latunenko, and for 18 years I have been working as a psychologist, family psychologist, individual psychologist, and also helping people with cancer. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, to my channel, please do subscribe and give it a like in advance, and also leave comments. Any of your activity greatly helps in promoting the channel on YouTube. This way, more people will receive quality information, useful content about the psychology of our native Ukrainian Wa language. Regarding the reasons for absence or detachment, I mean the emotional detachment of the father, I will briefly mention right away. It could be the death of the father during the girl's early childhood. It could also be a divorce where the father leaves the family and does not communicate with the girl. Or the father is emotionally immature, not ready at all for the birth of a child. He is just nominally present in the girl's life, but emotionally he does not build any relationships with her. It was the same in my life, where my father only had, some sort of financial aspect in my life, but emotionally he did not build any relationships with me at all. There is another reason for emotional detachment. It is very hidden and very subtle for us women, but it is still worth emphasizing. When a woman becomes a mother, she believes that no one can do anything better than she can. And even if she wants her husband to help her, she constantly criticizes his help. He did this wrong, he did that wrong. And eventually the father believes that he cannot manage without her help, without her guidance, and is incapable of taking care of the little child on his own. And thus, the father gradually withdraws and no longer takes any part in the upbringing and development of his little daughter. This reason is also a consequence of the fact that the father and mother are emotionally immature, not ready to have a child. So that's about the reasons. It could also be that the father, for example, did not want a girl, he wanted a boy. This is also the emotional immaturity of the father himself. Or, this is just an accidental child. Yes, he didn't want it, she did, for example, or neither of them wanted it, they just decided to have the baby. That is emotional unpreparedness, immaturity, infantilism. Now let's move on to the consequences that a girl may face in her life if she had such a father. If he was still present in her life, at least nominally, and was simply detached, not building any relationships with her, she will still have a model of such a detached, formally present man in her life who is just formally there. Yes, a formal, cold, detached figure. And who do you think she will find as a partner in her adult life? She will orient herself towards the model she saw in her childhood. She will think that this image of a man is correct, is normal, that these are normal relationships for family life, where the man just like a robot goes to work, comes back from work, Then the mother nags him about something, makes some complaints, and he doesn't pay any attention to the girl at all. And this greatly affects her self-esteem, her sense of dignity, her sense of self-worth. She will believe that she is unattractive, unintelligent, unworthy of love. She doesn't deserve love, respect, or even attention. And such a girl will most likely hold back her feelings. It will be difficult for her to approach her dad, to ask something, to request something. She will have problems with the give and take dynamic because she will feel very guilty if she asks her dad for something. She will be afraid to ask. And as we know, it is very important for adults to be able to both ask and give, to express their needs and feelings, as well as to hear the needs and feelings of others. But such a father appears to the girl as a fortress, a cold stone fortress that you can't even approach closely. Therefore, she will not know how to build close relationships. And here there are two strategies she might choose for her life. And the first strategy is when she closes off, she doesn't express, she hides her emotions. She is very reserved, appears very calm, but she will suppress her feelings intensely and might not even be aware of them. All her feelings, her needs will be sent deep into her subconscious, and she will be taught to ignore herself because in her experience of relationships with such a father, ignoring is the foundation of relationships with the world of men, since a father in a girl's life is the first man with whom she builds a relationship. And this is the first model, the first matrix that she then takes and carries into her life, relying precisely on this matrix when she meets someone, falls in love with someone. And here we again have those two strategies. Either she doesn't let anyone close, she falls in love, she wants close relationships, but she doesn't trust. She is afraid of the world of men because a man is something unknown to her, because next to her there is, well, how to say, a void, right? There is emptiness, there is a void next to her where a father should be. And we all know that a father's role is to protect the girl, to protect and reflect her femininity. Well, I'll talk about femininity later on. He should reflect her intellect, her beauty, her worth, right? And if he doesn't do this, she doesn't know who she is as a woman. And very often such girls, young women, they might even develop slowly. They often have a body that resembles that of a teenager. They can be quite slim. Their sexual characteristics develop very slowly, meaning she doesn't know how to be a woman, right? Or the opposite. The girl might be overweight because she is protecting herself from the unknown. She is in a state of anxiety, and in order to cope with and reduce this anxiety, she seeks out these destructive psychological mechanisms that will save her from feelings of anxiety, fear of the unknown, and the imposing cold father like a stone fortress. And in this way, she herself can become cold, like a fortress, and push men away. But, in my opinion, more often such a girl chooses a completely different strategy, and this strategy is the exact opposite of the first one. If the first strategy is that I am closed off and completely focused on myself, and I am like a world unto myself, yes, a state within a state, then the other strategy is focusing on the needs and feelings of other people. Therefore, this strategy will be very strongly associated with feelings of guilt, distrust, fear of loss, fear of experiencing that absence of a father again, like in childhood, because it's a very unpleasant feeling. You understand that something or someone should be in that place, but it's not there, right? And that's why it's frightening. It's experienced as betrayal, as being ignored. And such a girl decides that she is bad. She is guilty. She might even decide that she is guilty for not being the same gender as her father. She might feel guilty for being a girl, for her sexuality, since the father did not tell her, did not reflect her femininity and sexuality, did not approve of her beauty, was not captivated by her. She will think that she is unattractive. And there can even be extreme cases where she will think that she is very, very unattractive. Although in reality, such girls can actually be beautiful and very attractive. Such a girl will not love herself. She will ignore herself. She will not respect herself. She will think that she deserves to be treated poorly, to be treated badly. Therefore, this is the perfect match for our handsome narcissists and psychopaths who are looking for a woman who will adore them. I slightly digressed, but I still want to say that when the father was completely absent, yes, the girl imagines an ideal image of the father, right? She idealizes him, and into this void that exists in her intrapsychic space, where there should be an adequate image of the father, she places an ideal image of the father, and she idealizes men, and then goes into the world of men, projecting this ideal image onto men. And the first thing she sees is some kind of ideal prince, right? Then she becomes disillusioned. She endures some form of mockery, abuse, violence, because she hopes that through her good behavior she can earn love. She might go to great lengths to be loved, to be cherished, and she will be very afraid of losing such a man. Just as she once lost her father, because that is a very painful experience. Therefore, she might exhibit controlling, stalking behavior. And in this way, she might even show signs of toxicity towards her partner due to control and jealousy, because she thinks that somewhere out there is a better woman, that the man will definitely leave her, betray her, because she believes she is not worthy of being loved. I remind you, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, please subscribe to it. If you enjoy listening to this video, please give it a like. Even if she is experiencing all these feelings of jealousy and low self-esteem, she will often remain silent about it because she clenches her jaw and covers herself with a psycho-emotional armor. She experiences this internally in a very dramatic way, but she is determined to play the role of a good girl. Therefore, she enters into relationships that fully reveal the entire scope of her problem. The relationships she chooses bring to the surface the trauma she needs to go through, grow from, become aware of, and gain her own value, stop ignoring herself, feel her boundaries, and sense her wholeness, because at some point, an absent father or one who was cold and detached in his behavior caused her to feel split in two. And she has a very ambivalent attitude towards herself, just as she might have towards men. Ambivalent means both love and hate, because the resentment towards her father, even if she doesn't feel it so vividly, doesn't go away. It lies in the subconscious and affects the adult life of the woman. And she might project this resentment onto the man she chooses. Those are my cats yelling, sorry. They're arguing. Such a woman really wants to eventually get a good, normal, nice daddy. And if she doesn't realize her trauma, she might dedicate her entire life to searching for such a father in the world of men. But no one wants to be a father to an adult woman. And only psychopaths and narcissists can take on this role, who will use it to boost their self-worth and assert themselves. And this может threaten such a girl, woman with psycho-emotional abuse. But this is her path to adulthood. This is her path of development. And if she tries not to become her partner's little girl, meaning not to play the role of you take care of me and provide for me while I sit at home with the neck brace, she might start to take on the opposite role in the relationship with him, the role of a hyper mother for him. And these are such extreme roles, which indicate that the psyche of such a woman remains undeveloped, infantile, because a mature, healthy woman has not yet been born. She still needs to go through her journey of maturity and the path of developing female dignity and sexuality. By the way, I wanted to say more about the sexuality of a woman who did not have a normal connection with her father. Either he was not there at all or he was absent. The sexuality of such a woman will be, seemingly frozen, somewhat inhibited. Balance with balance, alt. In intimate closeness, she will feel very constrained because she is afraid of creativity in this process. She is afraid of spontaneity. She is afraid to be herself because she is very anxious about being abandoned if she does something that is not liked. She is afraid of being devalued. She is afraid of guilt. She is afraid of male aggression because she did not go through the period when every girl, every teenager protests against her father. And this is such an interesting stage in a woman's development, to tell her father, I am already grown up, I already belong to the world of women, and I no longer belong to you. I have moved on to boys. And you have to accept that. I will choose boys for relationships myself. She does not protest, no? Because she does not have such an experience of protesting against her father, because it is not possible to protest against someone who is not there. And it is not possible to protest against the idealized figure of a father that the girl has internally created for herself if she never had a father at all. If a girl did not have a normal, healthy, emotionally adequate father, her feelings, her scenario that she will choose in adult life will be sadness, sorrow, fear, and betrayal. If you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, please subscribe to it. Give a like onto this video if you enjoyed it, and also leave comments, as many of you have responded to this topic and were very interested in it. Please write whether what I told you in this video resembles what you experienced in your childhood in the case of an absent or cold and distant father.